Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 9:01 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, April 16, 2021. So the title of the video is April Monthly Options Expiration. So for those of you who aren't aware or don't play options, the third Friday of every month is the monthly options expiration. There are weekly and quarterlies. Uh, Obviously, there are 4 quarters in a year, right? This is not one of them. So there are 8 other that are just regular monthlies, and then you got all the weeklies in between. So this one isn't as big as a quarterly expiration, but it's still bigger than just an average weekly expiration. So traditionally, on days like this, you can get after the European close, traders start taking off for the weekend. The market makers try to start protecting their book. It can get a little muted action, right? And it doesn't always follow the same technical edge that we like to use. So your edge goes down typically on an expiration. So my advice would be to, if you do trade in the afternoon, use tighter risk controls, right? So you want to take a shot for something, make sure you've got the stops and the target on the servers. And if it doesn't look like it's going to full target, but you've got some profits, just wrap it in. Better advice is just to start your 3-day weekend or your weekend early, right? So looking at the bigger time frame pictures again is where I like to start off the day. We'll go back to this. I like to look at this marker that is this spike high from November 9th. So since then, since we've crossed back over that, right, straight up, just all the way back to March 25th, which wasn't that long ago, right? You know, we talked about this node here. If you lose this node, there's basically 400 points downside to the ES that was on the table with a stop, the first stop about 200 points down. So as we look at that, right, it went to the edge of the abyss, right, and it's backed off, right? It's ran the other way. So, if you think about it, there were basically, let's just call it from 3,900 down to 3,400, right? There were 500 points on the table to the downside. Since that did not happen, there could be basically 500 points on the table to the upside. So far, if you put that at 4,000, basically we're at 4166. Now, you still have another potential 340 points up before it starts backing and filling. That's one of my phrases that I like to use. If what should happen does not happen, expect the opposite to happen with equal force, right? So I'm not going to say that I'm not putting anything on the books saying that we're going up to 4,500 in the ES before we have a major downturn, but it would not surprise me. And I'm not going to trade against this up move because I know it has potential to go to 4,500. There are some technicians that have targets on the books for this month, which this month is only half over. That's for the ES to print 4,200. So for the ES to print 4,200, remember there's a 10-point offset for the futures between the S&P 500 cash, right, and the futures. The futures are basically 10 points lower right now, so that would be basically 4190 would print 4200 in the S&P 500. That's actually on the table for today. We'll see if it plays out or not, or if we get some retracement after the bell. Looking at all the indexes, you can see the theme, except for the Russell, right? All-time high, all-time high, all-time high, made in this overnight session. The Russell is still having problems getting over 2275. I'm still not interested at all in the Russell until it breaks below 2175 or it breaks above 2275. I really just want no part of this action. I find it Jack had a good consolidation read on here. It popped up here, but this technically, for popping above this consolidation, should break up to all-time highs with some speed and conviction like you're seeing in the other markets. I don't really see that happening here yet. So I'm a little suspect that the Russell's going to do anything with that. So back to my, if what should happen doesn't happen, you can expect the opposite. If we're supposed to go up in the Russell, basically from this consolidation, and if we go back and look at the all-time high and the Russell, that's 2366, right? So from excuse me, 2230, basically that's 130 points. So if we go 130 points down, that's going to print basically 2070 is what would print in the Russell. So that would take us basically back down to the bottom edge of this abyss. So I really don't particularly care for the Russell, like I said, until we get out of that range. So I'm not going to be paying a whole lot of attention. So looking at overnight action, 19.25 points for the ES. You can see where the level 4s are for the day, the 4As, 41.12 up to 42.13. So basically 101 points between the level 4s. You can see we're going up there. You would assume that it's perfectly reasonable to print near level 3, which would be that 4197.50. So just under that again, the S&P 500 would print 4200 today. Looking at all the indexes, seeing where they're at, you can see that they've all got up over yesterday's high of the day, and everyone but the Russell, the NASDAQ is sitting on it right now, is right there, right? So they're all at or above. So what I'm going to look at for today's action is I'm going to look at the overnight profiles. I'll be covering for Jack today, so I will be sharing that with the room on Discord today. And there'll be a grid that looks like this, and what you'll end up getting is an updated bottom set to this 8 grid, right, with the overnight value areas that are calculated from the session open last night until the opening bell this morning, and I'll be watching that. So before we get off, let's look back at Tesla, right? The anchor that I'm using for Tesla is 640 to high. This has coming out of this low here, not the low from basically March 5th, but the low on March 30th. This anchor has been used 3 times so far. So looking at the 640 to high, right, we're right at the 38.2. So if Tesla is going to hold up, right, and remember the earnings for Tesla, let me open up my sheet. And I did share my sheet with everyone in Jack's room today. So if we scroll down and look at Tesla, it's going to be on Monday, the 26th after the bell. So it's still got all of next week to trade, and that Monday session as well. So it's got, including today, there's 7 trading sessions before it reports. So I don't think that you're going to get. You might get some money guessing one way or the other, some trends, but basically what I think is going to happen after it reports, right? It's going to gap. It's either going to gap up and over this profit target of 820, right, after it reports and hold there and start going back up, or it's going to gap down and break this draw, and we'll see if it holds that draw or not. Remember, it is still holding shorts basically for this, although it did bust this 61.8. We should be able to buy the next pullback. This sequence has been holding, like I said, but it hasn't broke the 78.6 yet. So I'm going to leave the short draw on. That short draw still does target down to 454 for Tesla. So if you're a Tesla bull, right, this is the draw I'll be watching. 640 to high, the swing high, and watch it. 713's the 50. And then basically sitting on it is the 61.8 is at 696. So you guys have a great day. I will be back on live for the remainder of the day. I'll start off about 10 minutes after the opening bell at 9:40 so I can get these grids out. You guys have a great day, and I will see you then.